Hello friends, welcome to the Wonder Who channel. My name is Naja. If you're new here, welcome, and if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. Guess what today is? Today is a garden tour. We haven't done a garden tour since July of this year, and I like to try to do them every other month. I'm going to show you what the garden looks like in the backyard, but I'm also going to show you the hydroponic systems indoors, show you what my seedlings look like, and show you some of the plants and green stalks I have closer to the front of the house. So let's go ahead and get started. So here we have my indoor gardening systems. This planter right here is a 8-hole hydroponic system, and it has basils in it mostly, and it has calendula. So over here is a calendula racina, and over here is a calendula alpha. I have had the hardest times in my gardening practice of growing calendula, so I decided I wanted to try what it would look like indoors, and I am excited to report that it worked. And I've got a flower bud forming right here. Same for the other one. So as far as the basils go, this is the lettuce leaf basil. This is lemon basil. If you can see here, I've got 2 basil plants right here. So I'm going to cut one out and root it, and then be able to possibly gift this to somebody, or I'll just keep it in the house in soil. And then right here, I've got Thai basil. Next is the Kapoor Tulsi basil that I have here. It's a holy basil. So I'll be doing the same thing here, just leaving one plant in here and rooting the other plants to transfer elsewhere. And then this is blue spice basil. This basil, y'all, is a very close second favorite to me from the lemon basil, and I highly encourage you to try to get seeds for it or get somebody to give you a cutting off of there so you can propagate it. It is magnificent. I got the seeds from M.I. Gardner, and it was the first time I ever saw that basil as an option. And then I tried to grow some Korean mint right here, but it did not work successfully, so I've just left it empty for now. And I'll figure out something once I transport some of these basil plants into propagation, and when I transport the calendula outdoors. It's an 8-hole hydroponic system. I've been growing catnip in it for quite a while, and because I loved it so much, I'm really enjoying catnip as a tea. I decided to start another catnip plant, which is right here, and I've been cutting off of that. And so for both of the catnip plants, I've been cutting and drying the leaves so I can have catnip tea. This is a marjoram plant. I've cut it back, and I am currently in the process of water propagating from this as well. And oh, I am water propagating right now on the catnip plant. This right here is 2 broadleaf plantain plants. I'm going to be removing those, gently cutting them in half out of the hydroponic sponge, and placing these in soil eventually as well. And then finally, I have gotten chamomile. I've gotten about 4 or 5 flowers, and I've just pulled them off and just let them air dry until I have a chance, if I'm running the dehydrator or the freeze dryer. And you can hear the freeze dryer in the background right now because I am freeze drying some peach slices. And just wanted to show you my propagations I'm working on right now. So I've got some mint here and some lemon balm. However, I have no problem growing lemon balm, but just wanted to see what would happen. And then these are some coleus plant cuttings, and these are some of the specimens that I really enjoyed the coloring of. I want to be able to have those indoors over the cold, the fall and winter. So this is oregano, this is catnip, and then this is marjoram. And I put foil on top and put little holes so that they have a good way to sit up in the water. And this right here is my indoor growing station. Right now you don't see anything up here because it's about 70 degrees today and it's nice and breezy. So I watered the seedlings and decided they could tolerate a little bit of this less hot weather. And I'll show you those. So these are my seedlings that I've started. And as you see, I've got quite a bit of brassica activity going on with germination. And then there are some other seeds here, basil, because I want to try to grow basil until it just gets absolutely cold. And then I've got some different things here as well. You may want to check one of my recently posted videos to see everything that I started. I'll try to remember to leave that in the description box so you have that link. All right, this is my pride of place. It's been my pride of place for the whole summer growing season, but this is at my mailbox, and it's a round raised bed, a 2-foot round raised bed. So what I've got going on here, we'll start from this side. I've got a mullein plant right here that's been harvested quite a few times, and I've been able to freeze dry and gift to loved ones. Look, we've got a marigold trying to sport some activity here. So grateful for that. This is a flower. It looks like a zinnia to me. I don't know, what do y'all think? It looks like it's a zinnia. This right here are some of the beautiful coleuses in different colors. These coleus came from a Dollar Tree seed pack, rainbow mixed color coleus. And it has brought me great joy and continues to bring me great joy. Next, we've got the one and only zinnia that has grown this year, and the first time I've ever successfully gotten a zinnia plant to bloom. So grateful that I got this beautiful red one. And as it ages and the bees pollinate the zinnia, I'm going to save the seeds from this. I'm delighted to see that I may get a few more zinnia blooms. So I got one right here. Got another one right here, maybe coming. And then one right here. So this is what I get to see every time I come to the mailbox, and it brings me great joy. And my husband enjoys looking at it when he pulls into the driveway from many hard days of work. Going to probably replace these flowers as the weather gets cooler with something else. I've got probably some violas or pansies in mind for here, and then whatever else I can find that will tolerate the cold. And here is the front patio area. The front of the house gets a lot of canopy from the trees, so things don't grow at a rapid rate because of the reduced sunlight. But if you remember from the previous tour, I had some extra coleus plants, and I'd explained that I put them out here. And I also had some extra mullein plants. So these coleus plants are going to get pulled up pretty soon. So I've got 3 still up here. Definitely going to be transplanting this one into soil and keeping it in the house because I really like the colors on it. I think that's delightful. And I've got a mullein plant right here. I had several mullein plants, but mullein this year just was struggling. I would have one in a pot and it would just die. Like my oldest mullein plant died a couple of weeks ago. I pulled quite a few plants from the front, the coleus and mullein, and took them down to my parents' house so that I could have some plants down there already, like in the GreenStalk. And these 2 planters here, at one point I had moonflowers, but they were not thriving. So I removed the moonflowers, and because the soil where these mullein plants were placed over here was very rocky and it was hard for the plants to grow and thrive, I decided just to put them in the soil. And so here they are right here, but then I also added some lemon balm. So obviously when I moved the mullein plants out of that rocky, tough to take root soil, it started to thrive. So maybe that will survive. it will grow again next year and produce those yellow flowers in its year 2. And here's another mullein plant. And then this is lemon balm. For some reason, the insects just chewed it up, and it didn't have any leaves. So I had these drink bottles that I had preserved from when I was doing winter sowing. And so when I took the plants out of the winter sowing containers, these look like protective tops to stuff. So I just kept them. And so that's what I do when I see something that needs a little help. I'll just cover it. And then this is the lemon yellow GreenStalk. I had it on, actually physically on the porch, but I took it off because the squirrels were just acting crazy. But also it started to get cooler. The weather's breaking. These plants that can tolerate the cooler weather and the shade, I wanted to allow them a chance to thrive. So about 2 weeks ago, I came home and I noticed this. Like, can you see this? I've never had this happen before. This is squirrels chewing on my GreenStalks. Now I have to really watch out. Like, isn't this crazy? So apparently they like to chew on something to help make their teeth shorter. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but I mean, my goodness. I was like so disappointed and dismayed with that. And then they had dug up some plants I had started as well. There is lots of celery in here. And then I have like an amaranth plant right here. I've got one of my coleus. Then I've got some garlic chives right here. And this is a red vein sorrel. This was one of the red vein sorrel plants that was in the GreenStalk with the garlic, where the aphids just took it out. I thought I had cleaned everything out, and this wanted to survive. Y'all let me know in the comments, please. Have you seen pest damage on your GreenStalks where they're just chewing up? And I wasn't expecting it because it's never happened before. But I'll show you on the other GreenStalks that I have near the front of the house as well, where they started chewing on that. So all these years I've had these GreenStalks out here, and the squirrels decided they wanted to chew on them this year. Very strange. All right, so this is my medicinal herb GreenStalk, and it's done the best it can with the limits of the care that I could provide it. So we've got some beautiful perilla, Korean perilla right here. So I'm excited to see that. I haven't been able to eat as much as I would like. It seems like I want it when I'm not home. These garlic chives are doing great, and I love how these two are together because maybe I'll have some noodle salad soon. This is medicinal yarrow. It's not living its best, but it's trying to yet hold on. And then this is popolo. This is a medicinal plant, but I didn't get the seeds for medicinal purposes. I got it because it's a summer cilantro substitute. But a friend of mine that is Mexican, she told me that popolo and epazote are medicinal plants in her culture. And then we've got some lemon balm. I cut this lemon balm back pretty significant, probably 2/3 of it recently, both of the lemon balm plants, and freeze dried some lemon balm for a gift. Here's another Korean perilla. Here's a stevia plant. This is a replanting. And then this is the epazote. Here's some more lemon balm. Here is some oregano. This oregano actually came out of my hydroponic garden, and I transplanted it to soil. And then this is my Symphony of Basil GreenStalk. It was not a symphony, it was just a quartet, but I still was able to get some things off of it, and I'm grateful. As you can see, I've got some celery down here, got some blue spice basil, some dark opal basil, Thai basil. I've got a Jessica coxcomb celosia plant right here. A little bit of basil. I was able to cut back on these basil plants a little bit and freeze dry some basil when I ran a cycle for the mullein and lemon balm. There's a lemon basil, sweet Italian basil. Oh, it's a little caterpillar right there. This is so strange. So this GreenStalk of basil really didn't thrive over here. Last year I had a huge planter and it was in the same area where this GreenStalk was, and the basil did great. So I don't know what happened this year. So I wasn't expecting the basil to not thrive in this area when it had thrived in this area the previous year. Let me show you some more chewing, scratching, whatever this is. I was like, after I've had GreenStalks in this yard since 2023, this happened. And I got some right here as well. So let's take it to the backyard and I'll show you what's going on in the backyard garden, which is the biggest garden space that I manage. So we'll start over here. This platform was existing when we moved here, and I just didn't feel like the soil was good enough to use as a raised bed. So we just made sure it got reinforced a little better, and I threw down some landscape fabric. I used to have a small greenhouse here, and then I had GreenStalks, and that's how, you know, things got started before I started expanding out into the yard. Here is one of the GreenStalks that I have. The tomatoes that I had planted down here, I got rid of them because they weren't thriving. And all the other plants that I had in here, calendula, rosemary, chamomile, it did not make it. So, and then also a lot of the strawberry crowns that I separated did not make it. But this is the strawberry crowns that I do have, and they bounce back like I did share with you they would. And I've been getting a few strawberries, 1 or 2 on occasion when I come out here every few days. I think that's lovely. I did take some strawberry plants, about 2, and took them down to my parents' garden where I have a GreenStalk established there now. And those, when I left the other day, looked like they were still in quite a bit of shock. I think they'll bounce back. Oh, look here. I do have a couple of strawberries. So that's one of the Yellow Wonder strawberries. They are very small, and they're extremely sweet, but they don't get longer than about 1 inch. And then so this one is really doing its thing. Look at this, here's a third one. I might take those off. I need a little sugar pick-me-up. But yeah, I think these are absolutely beautiful. Here's another one. And then here's another one. I love it. Thank you, strawberries. So for this GreenStalk in the fall, it's probably just gonna have leafy greens in it, lettuces. That's what I'm probably going to do for these, and save the raised beds for longer term or bigger crops. And this baby right here, oh my goodness, it's been struggling. I've come and cleaned it up the last time I was home. This is my Symphony of Being GreenStalk. It was struggling. You can see it for your own eyes. But I've been able to harvest a few beans off of here. What I'm really impressed with is all this flowering right here on this lima can green plant. Look at all of that. So I'm expecting just a flush. I expect that I will probably blanch these lima beans and then freeze them for a nice lima bean meal in the future, depending on how many I get. Yeah, I have jade and purple TP and Roma bush beans. This is all bush beans. Cherokee wax as well. Oh, look at this. Here's some purple TP sticking out. So in my next occasion of being home, I will probably pull these plants. In this area right here, this row of things, these 4 pots, this is my orchard. I've got apple trees right here. So this is a Honeycrisp apple tree. This is a Dorset apple tree. The bugs really got to it. Well, the Japanese beetles, let's say. The Japanese beetles really got to it this year. I know it's probably coming time that I may need to prune these back, but I don't know how to do that. So that's something I'm gonna have to sit down and take research in on that. And these were rootstock. So they were economical for me, and I was okay with the way that they came in, and I was impressed with the growing of these plants. And I know it'll be a couple of years before I can do anything with them. This is a summer Concord grapevine. I bought this at Lidl for like $4, and I'm impressed with what happened with it as well. I'll have to come up with some sort of plan for trellising it. And then this is my Ruby Crisp muscadine plant. It was rootstock as well. And then there's some assorted snapdragon plants here as well. This right here was another strawberry volunteer. This is my Mary Washington asparagus patch, so it's in a huge pot. This started looking so great when the seeds germinated and the crowns came up and everything, but the pests really enjoyed chewing on it. The fronds would grow and then they'd get chewed up. The fronds would grow and then it would get chewed up. And so this last time that the fronds grew and got chewed up, I decided that I was going to cover it with netting. So that's what I've done here. I'm not versed on asparagus, so I don't know if this is how they're supposed to look at this time of year or not. This is my second succession of bush beans in these beds. So this is jade bush beans. I had quick snack cucumber plants here as well, in a plant here in this bed, and it got old and it just stopped producing. So that's fine. And I tell you, me and DJ enjoyed those cucumbers. And the same over here. I had cucumber plant here as well. I have this plant right here. That's a cucumber. The cucumber doesn't look like it's thriving. It looks like it's got some disease, and I tried to address that. But this is, I think, either a market more cucumber or a big deal cucumber plant. And then on this side of the planter, we've got a second succession of burgundy beans. Well, a second succession of beans, but it's not royal burgundy beans. This is the purple TP beans. This is one of the coleus plants that I took from up front. And in this pot right here, I had New Zealand spinach. The bugs just got to it and ate it all up, so I decided just to pull it. I bought some straw from Tractor Supply. It was a Stanley straw. If you noticed, I'm starting to cover things with the straw. So like any beds that you see straw in and they're not, they don't have anything growing out of them, it is because I have amended them, added more soil to them, and then covered them with straw. So that's my note that that bed is ready and doesn't need anything. And then just because I've been gone a lot as well, I just wanted to use the straw, say like in this bed and this bed, to hold moisture in. And then this right here was the bed that I was using to grow melons, but cutworms. But I still have some things growing right here. So I've got, as you see, some bean plants, some nasturtium, some French marigold. What is this? Oh, that's basil. I don't know which basil that is, but that is basil. And now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, yeah, I think I did have a basil plant here. And then we've got this lime plant right here. I got this lime plant for $10 from Walmart. And it looks like it's doing good. And I need to research what I need to do for it as I prepare to bring it indoors as it starts getting cold. So if you are a gardener that grows citrus in zone 8A, if you have any tips and things that have worked well for you, please leave them in the comments. This is a Roselle hibiscus plant. So my husband said there was a really bad storm overnight. And so he came out here and checked things and saw that the Roselle hibiscus plants had leaned over. And I clutched my pearls a little bit. But today I was able to address it and get them stabilized and more soil and things like that. So this is one. And then this is the second one right here. I don't think I'll get any flowers or anything before it starts getting really cold, but I'm going to leave them out here as long as I can. And then that is the third one right here. And this is my very first comfrey plant that I grew from seed. I've only had comfrey in my yard from seed, but I grew this from seed, so I know that it is possible. And if you check out my blog, I have a page of seeds with the links. So seeds I love and I've grown, and I can vouch for them as far as my experience. So check out my blog for that. This is a Symptium officinale, and I've got some harvesting to do, especially when they have these little broken ones right here. And then it's created a flower head, and I learned that that's okay, and that I actually can save those seeds because this is not one of those sterile varieties of comfrey. It is possible to grow comfrey from seed. I've done it. Now, when this plant gets a couple years old and it's more mature, after year 2, I probably will take some of the root cuttings and try to see how that works. But I'm certainly going to plan on collecting the seeds from this. This is a miracle. This is a perilla plant. The pest chewed this plant to a skeleton and it survived. So, I think about right now in my life some of the things I'm struggling with. And if God can allow this plant to survive and thrive and overcome, He's doing that for me. In this bed right here, I had started carrots in it about 4 weeks ago and had it covered, was advising my family to please keep it moist. But life is lifing for them as well, and they could not. And so those carrot seeds were not taken care of to be able to germinate. However, there are a few. There are a few, if you can see that. And so I'm glad for that. But I am going to come back in here. I bought some more Johnny's pelleted seed, and I am going to come back in here and make this all carrots, because I would love to have that many carrots, or however many carrots I can put in here. And I probably want to add a little bit more soil so things come up more to the top. And then this is a coleus planter. So remember I told you I had some coleus plants up front that I moved, and some of them I took to my parents' house. But the ones that were in that very rocky soil on the left of my front porch, I moved them back here. And so this is a coleus planter. And then here's a stunning specimen. I'm just waiting on it to try to recover. And I want to be able to propagate from this as well. And then these 2 buckets at one point, they had Aunt Molly's ground cherry plants, and they were struggling as well. I just find it interesting that these marigolds are blooming like this now at the end of the season. But I'm going to take it. I'm going to accept it, and I'm grateful for it. And then that's some garlic chives, some more garlic chives, and then this is a bean plant. But I didn't label it, so I'm not sure what bean plant it is until it starts producing beans. And here is yet another beautiful coleus planter of multiple coleus. Oh, look at this. It looks like it has some chewing going on right here, and I'm just noticing this. So yeah, I'm still having wildlife come over here and chew. And I'm gonna leave it like this because I feel like if I turn it, then they'll want to chew the other plants. So I'm just gonna leave it alone. Yeah, look at that chewing. And it's scabbed over, so it must have been a few days. So I can see right there. That's definitely deer. And then I have this dahlia that I grew from seed. It looks like it's going to give me some flowers soon, and I'm really excited about that. I think that's wonderful. I really had hoped that I had a ton of flowers because I was intentional about growing flowers for this summer garden, but it just didn't happen. But I still got several years to be able to have that opportunity. God willing, and the creek don't rise, I have enjoyed this pepper patch thoroughly, especially the shishito peppers, but I think it's going to be coming to a close soon. What I have in here, I have shishitos, I have jalapenos, I have serranos, I have cayenne, and Hungarian yellow wax. They're doing their thing, especially the Hungarian yellow wax. The bees absolutely love these coleus plants. So my heart wanted the flowers for beauty, but also to attract the pollinators. On these coleus plants, I've seen bees, I've seen hummingbirds, and I've seen monarch butterflies. So I think I did a good job. Didn't know what I was getting into with these coleus, but coleus are a plant of remembrance for me. And so I'm gonna grow it. But I highly recommend that you try to grow some coleus next year, because when everything else failed with the flowers, I have these coleus plants that still brought pollinators. I think it was a great coincidence that I have this abundance of peppers like I've never had before in the past 2 years, because I had this coleus plant nearby. And then this was my tomato patch. I had all dwarf tomatoes in here. I will grow them again. I had Audrey's Love, Summertime Green, and dwarf mocha cherry, and a mocha cherry, all dwarf plants. The only seeds I did not get anything from was the Summertime Green, but I think there was too many plants in here. And so I'm not gonna fault the Summertime Green. Now, if that happens next year, then I would be changing my decision about growing them. I was planning on pulling these plants up after these fruits blushed. Look at this. You know, this has got its second wind with the flowers. And you can see the growth, like how beautiful it is, but I may end up still pulling these. So I don't know, maybe I'll keep one, I don't know. But yeah, like I've got a couple fruits here that are kind of new, and I haven't covered those. And then the basil that was over here getting chewed up is now flourishing as well. All right, right here, I don't think I showed you these two pots. These are moringa plants, and when I left, these two moringa plants had leaves on them, and I had them covered so that the bugs wouldn't chew them up while I was away. I came home to check the plants. The leaves had fallen off. They were on the bottom of the bag and they were yellow. I don't know if these moringa plants are going to do anything else. And as it starts getting cool, I know that these don't like the cool weather, but I'm gonna keep on just to observe and see what happens. But I'm glad that I was finally able to successfully germinate and grow a moringa up to this point. This is my PVC greenhouse, but right now it has become a storeroom over the past month and a half, because I don't have anything to bring out here. And I want stuff close to the house, so because I need assistance while I'm away. This is my red chrysanthemum. It got beat up, but it's still making it. It's still trying to do something. And unfortunately, the yellow chrysanthemum that I had here did not make it. And I think it's for its service, but I'm gonna leave it here because I've not been ready to accept the reality that it's gone. All right, and if you remember from previous videos, this had growth on it. It had noodle beans, the green and red varieties, and then it had cuckoozy squash and loofah. But I got squash bugs, not squash vine borers, but squash bugs. And I think some cucumber beetle as well. So I got the droop on the cuckoozy squash that could not be remedied by water. And so I was like, pull it, just pull it. And then the beans slowed down and I pulled those before my last departure. So this is now clean on both sides, but I've left the flowers in here. So the marigold has been doing what marigolds are doing. I love it. So beautiful. And then here's the coleus plants as well. And then I've already, once I pulled these plants up, added more soil, added fertilizer, and then covered it to keep the moisture in. This planter right here, I put another mullein plant. So this is mullein plant number 3. This is from the front, and this is not looking like it's really struggling that much yet. So hopefully this third one is the charm for the long run. And then this is a beautiful coleus plant right here as well. And then this is the other bed on the arch. And I don't know if I had mentioned it, but my goal is to get peas growing in both of these beds and have them come up and be here until they can't be here anymore. And this is a spearmint plant that I have. I have been enjoying cutting from it, and I'm trying to propagate from this as well. All right, and this is on the side of my greenhouse. As you see, it's a bit of a nice sunny area, but because it's close to the woods, I have to protect it. So here's a lemon balm. It was doing great, and I cut from it, and then I've come back and it's just not doing its best. And these are some things that I grew from seed. So this right here is a Malabar spinach. I've never grown or never eaten Malabar spinach, so I'm intrigued as to what it tastes like as it continues to grow. And then what is this? This is a mini white cucumber. So it's doing its thing and it's finally starting to trellis and flower. And I'll have to come up with some sort of way to keep it protected from wildlife, but also to allow the bees to get in here. I had the top part of this open, so maybe I need to drape it a little lower so that I can make it accessible for the bees to get in and out. And then this is another Malabar spinach plant. So they look to be doing good. I also had planted nasturtium seeds in here, but they did not come up. These are alpine strawberries underneath the arch. And I think the coolness from the plants that were going on, it really helped it out with the shade. But now is its time to shine. And so it doesn't have all that cover and it looks like it's doing great here. And right here, I've got some plants. It's like a little holding area. So I've got another comfrey plant. I grew this comfrey from seed once again. And then this is the other comfrey plant. This right here is a Korean perilla that is starting to go to seed. So I need to do something with it or cut it back. But I'll be glad to collect the seeds as well because these seeds for these perilla plants, a lot of this perilla grew on its own. It was volunteer. So the seeds must have blown far and wide in this yard. This is a primal cane of black raspberry that I dug up from the tree line in my yard. So hopefully in a few years, I'll have some black raspberries to eat. This is some green onions. These are some cuttings from a mulberry tree from my parents' yard. I don't think they are rooting and some of them look like they're dead, but I'm yet holding on. So the next time I have to be with my parent, I'm going to cut some more from that mulberry tree before it goes dormant. I'm not giving up, and I would love to have that legacy plant in my yard from my parents' yard. So friends, that's the garden tour for September 2025. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed sharing this with you, and it means a lot that you're here. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Also, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. If you enjoy this content and you've not subscribed yet, I really would appreciate the honor of your subscription. Well, we're at the point of the video where you know what I'm gonna say, but I still mean it, and I mean it with sincerity and love. I hope today is the goodest of your good days, and may everything fall into place for you. Happy gardening, and I'll see you again soon.